Hi guys, it's Rick Baxter, Cost Control Software. Hey, I get lots of questions about adding scheduling functionality to your job and job manager software. So I thought I'd take a minute here and just show you a couple examples of what you can do. Let me just go to the Visual Job Scheduler. This is a product from Netronic. I think you're going to like what you see here. So here is the list of jobs. So this is my just a fairly short list of jobs. You can see all the dates that these jobs have, and these are fairly long ones. You can just grab a job and just drag it, and that takes along with the job all the underlying tasks that are associated with that job. It updates all that underlying data at the same time by just dragging and dropping and then saving that data. You do need to save the data. That's going to update your nav. So let me just say yes to that. So now this alert will kind of go away. You'll see that as it comes back. So I've moved it and no longer have that alert showing. So that's the concept of drag and drop. And there's lots of information on these jobs too, by the way. If I expand the subgroups, you'll see this particular job has client meetings, engineering CAD, some internal meetings. What else has it got going on this job? Some designing, some fabrication work, cutting work. These are all the different activities within the job, and you can see them pretty clearly right here. I can even just zoom in to a particular week or day. This is the material list, so I can see when those materials are going to be needed on that job. And this is all of what's called a Gantt chart view of that one job. So I kind of drilled into that one job, or I can collapse all that and just see it from a big picture point of view. Now, I do want to kind of take just a few minutes more with you to understand where the source is of that information. Where's this all coming from the job side? So let's go back over to our role center and let's drill into the jobs. And I think I'll just pick on, I've got quite a few jobs in here, but I want to pick on one in particular here to show you. It's these two right here. So this is a project type job. Here, this one's a project job as well. Planning, design, fabrication, installation. All these jobs are grouped together underneath the master project. So you could have 4 jobs, you could have 2 jobs, you could have just one job. Okay, as simple as one job. Hey, and notice too, all the costs are over here on the right side. The budgets are here, the estimates for your labor, your materials, the grand total, and of course, once the actuals start coming in from people entering employees' time, material usage, subcontractor expenses, whatever it might be, transportation costs, all those costs will start to show up on the job. One of the things I do want to show you before I hit the schedule, because this is an important concept, let me go to the statistic window on this, and I'll just kind of focus on this one job. So one of the things that I did at the very beginning on this job was I saved the original budget. I like to freeze the budget on a job so that as you have changes during the life of the job, you might have a change in the number of hours or a change in the cost or more materials or some additional subcontracts that you didn't expect. You can compare the original budget to the current budget. And so the estimator, when he first does the estimating on the job, he's going to come into this specially designed screen for estimating. It's like a big spreadsheet where he can establish the number of hours, the rates for that work, the total cost, all of this. And then eventually, way over here on the right side, there's some dates, there's prices that you're going to charge the customer, and eventually you come up with this contract price that you're going to charge for the work. So the estimator, when you first start off with this work, is kind of putting in their best guess of how much time it's going to take for engineering, 30 hours on engineering and CAD work. So all that's kind of set up front. But now once it's turned over to the scheduler, the scheduler may say, well, that's not quite right. Maybe this is going to take a little longer, or maybe that's too long. And the scheduler likes to make adjustments. So, and that's perfectly normal. That's what you would expect to have happen. But do remember, if the scheduler says, well, that activity is going to take longer, then the cost is going to go up. So where we had this, not estimate, the actuals, but the budgeted cost, so the hours may increase as well as the labor cost might increase because the scheduler kind of overrides what the estimator initially thought of. Think of it this way. Let me show you a little diagram that kind of helps you understand this, and then we'll do it so you can see the process. Let me open up this. I've got a little diagram here. Here we go. Okay, so I want to show you the relationship between job manager, which many of you are already familiar with, and the Netronic visual job scheduler. So you have the jobs, the job tasks, and the job planning lines. We want to send all that information to our scheduling board, and then the scheduler can edit the planning board if needed. They don't always have to, but they can make edits to this planning board, and then you save the data if you want to save it. You don't have to, but if you want to save the data and basically update your nav software, basically update your planning lines with new amount of time, let's say, then basically you would want to write back to your nav system any changes that the scheduler made on the planning board. So let's go take a look at how this all ties together. Let's go, and I'm just going to use that one job as an example here. So let me open up the planning board again for you, and I think we'll go into the details here. The job I wanted to show you was this pipeline study job. So I'm going to scroll over. It's kind of out by itself is why I wanted to pick on it. So it's over here. This is the job. You can see it starts. When does it start? About October the 8th is when this thing starts. And if we want to look at the details, I can just open it up and let's look at the groups of tasks. So we have pre-production. If you remember, there was pre-production, there was fabrication, and on-site department for on-site work. And these are the dates. If I scroll over a little bit, you'll see here pretty clearly the dates that each of these activities is going to be occurring. And there's the last part of the job, and that's when the job finishes. Now, there are some things that you can do as the scheduler. So I'm going to take the role of the scheduler and watch what happens here. I think this is so cool. I can come in as the scheduler, and let me just open one of these up. Let's take, let me just open them all up, and we'll just take a look here. So I'm going to open up some time here. Oh, there we go. This is a good one. All right, so I'm going to roll in here to Linda Martin, and let's see where she's got some work assignments to her. Right in here, maybe not the best one to use. No. Let me pick another one here. Oh, got it too detailed. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so I was on the wrong job. Sorry about that. So here's the job. Here's some of the assignments, so you can see, like this one's Carolyn Southworth, and here's the time that is established for her. But here's what's really nice, is with the scheduler, you can just hold down I'm just holding down the mouse, and then I can drag this activity to the right, let's say a couple days, and drop it there. Now, that basically sets the date, basically the planning date changed to the 11th. But you could also come to the end of this task and drag that, and basically I've bumped it from 64 hours to 80 hours. So now the duration of this particular task that she was on, let's see what she was on here, on the cutting stage of this job for Carolyn. And so I've increased it as the scheduler. I've increased it. So you've got to realize that as a scheduler, you're going to be increasing cost, right? Because now it's 80 hours instead of 64 hours. And if I save this data, guess what? I hit save and it's going to send this information back. Remember our little diagram, so it's writing that information back. In fact, let me bring this diagram up. I want you to see what I just did. So I made some edits on that planning board, and then I hit save data, which is a little choice up here, and it's now written that new change to the 80 hour, was it 80 hours? I think it was 80 hours, and it is up, yeah, 80 right there, 80. So let's go check. So this is, make sure we're on the right job. So I want to be sure I'm on the right job number. Okay, it's 300-03, and the operation, so we can get right to it, it's this cutting step, which is 2100. Let me write that down, 2100. Okay, so let's go to the jobs and just check it out. So go back to the job, and I want you to see how instantaneously this has changed. So here's the job, and let's go into our estimating. And if I come down to 2100 cutting, we have now, where's Carolyn? Right down here is Carolyn, and it was 45 hours, now it's 80 hours. So it's moved from 45 hours to 80 hours, and because it's 80 hours, it's going to take the shop rate of $20 an hour times the 80, and it's $1,600, which you can also see up here on the cost. So this is part of the estimated labor cost for cutting. Very, very simple, but the overall cost of the job has changed. Okay, the scheduling, changes to the scheduling have impact. Understand this. Scheduling changes impact the cost of the job. It could actually reduce the cost if it was less hours, not 80 but 20, something like that. It would reduce the cost, the estimated cost of the job. This is all on the estimated side, okay, because we haven't posted any actual cost. I don't think we have on this job. But that would come in, no, see there's no actual cost on this job. But do understand what's happening is as we make these changes to the job in the scheduling software, that is going to be changing here the shop hours. Let's see if we can drill and actually see that 80 out. There's the 45, so the 80's got to be real close. So here's the 80 hours. So you can see that this has been updated all automatically, okay, by the visual job scheduler. Just came right in and instantly shows right up on your screen. Okay, so that's what I wanted to kind of show you, just the relationship between the scheduling and being able to update your jobs. I think this is phenomenal, the way this kind of very easy to kind of follow the workflow and to see all these jobs, drill into any of them, make any adjustments that you need to make. I just changed the hours, but you can actually change who the resource is, who's assigned. You can go into these resources. There are lots of things that you can do with this software. I hope you like what you see. Call me. Call me, and let's set up a demonstration with some of your jobs and see how the scheduling environment would work with some of your data. Thanks very much for taking a look. Thanks. Bye-bye.